Hi everyone, welcome back to the Witch's Den. I'm Leica. So, we had our first video that described the differences between paganism, witchcraft, and Wicca. Just to kind of go over those one more time for you before we get into this session in this video. Paganism is an umbrella term that describes all naturistic based religions such as Druidry, Wicca, shamanism, Shintoism, etc. Witchcraft is not a religion, it is a practice, and Wicca is a nature-based religion that that believes in a god and a goddess or a duality of such. So there's a breakdown real quick of our last video. This video, though, I wanted to come on here and talk about grounding and centering. I feel thinking back to when I first started, grounding and centering is something that I didn't learn right off the bat. And if I could go back, I would want to learn that before learning anything else. So everybody has energy throughout their system and throughout the day. And of course, when you're practicing witchcraft or you're Wiccan or you're Druid or whatever naturistic form there is, we all tend to draw more energy from nature, whether it be from the ground or from the trees or from the birds or the sky or a storm or just the air itself. With that being said, not all of that energy is positive. Some energy that you contract can be from negative aspects also, which in turn bring you down, make you moody, things like that. So I want to go over grounding and centering with you guys. So I have my notes again, once again, off to my left here. So my left, your right. So I cannot stress enough, before doing any magical work at all, you need to ground and center yourself. So you do this to avoid depleting your personal energy levels. So you want to begin by you want to begin by being still, and you want to gather all of the energy and release everything through your palms of your hand or your feet. If you're in the house, you're going to be releasing it into the floor. If you're outside, you're going to be wanting to do what's called earthing, which is bare feet onto the ground. So with that being said, you want to feel, when you're grounding, you want to feel like an inner calmness. You're going to center yourself around your heart, and you're just going to close your eyes, and you're going to imagine, and I use the color purple just because purple is one of my favorite colors. So I imagine that my whole body is bursting with this purple energy field, okay? And it starts at the tip top of my head, and it ranges throughout my whole entire body. And so what I want to do is, when I'm sitting on the floor or I'm standing outside or sitting outside, I want to plant my feet and my palms of my hands, the palms of my hands, flat against the ground or the floor. And what I want to do is I want to see that energy or that purple light slowly dissipate down my head and into my neck, out my shoulders, like it's emptying. Okay? So when I do it, I see the purple coming down and emptying out of my body and leaving like white or black, I don't want to say emptiness, but like a glass of water would be pouring out. I take from the shoulders, and I go down from the shoulders, and I push all that out of the palms of my hands, and then everything from the neck down into your torso, out the bottoms of your feet. So, let's see. I want to make sure I'm telling you guys head, top of the circle. Okay, so after I do that, and when you do this, you're going to feel more relieved. You're going to feel more calm. You're not going to feel so much anxiety or so jittery when all of this stuff's happening. So I always ground all of And remember, your personal energy, you don't want to get rid of that because it's going to make you super tired if you do. So it's just like all the energy that you've absorbed extra from the universe and from Gaia and what's around you. So you're going to push all that out to begin with. So once I feel like all of that's gone, that's when I'll start to perform like my circle casting or whatever incantation or whatever spell or whatever it is that I'm doing, whatever magical working I'm doing. I will sit and I will continue to do that. Once my magical workings are done, again, because you're working, you're putting your intent into it, and you're putting your own personal energy and everything to get that spell working, it tends to leave what I like to call residue. And it's, again, excess energy that needs to be released. So again, after a magical working or spell or a ritual, especially during a ritual, I will ground again. Only this time, when I'm grounding that energy, I will take and I will push every bit of it out of my system. And then I will imagine taking in a different color of my personal energy. So my personal energy tends to be green. So when I push out all my purple light through my body and I'm breathing and I'm focusing on my breathing, and you're being calm once again and trying to push out all of that energy out of your body through the palms of your hands and the flats of your feet, then I will take, and before I get up and I'm done, I will pull up a certain amount of my personal green energy so that I'm not so exhausted afterwards. I cannot tell you how long it took me to realize that when I first started, I was doing this completely wrong. I didn't know anything about grounding. I didn't know anything of the sort about centering myself. And it took a big, huge toll on me. Sometimes I was sick after doing a magical working. Sometimes I was so exhausted, I just passed out. And there were other times that I had so much pent-up energy inside of me that I was angry. So I cannot stress to you guys enough to ground and center yourselves. So as I'm pulling in that personal energy, of course, I think Gaia, and I think, the universe around me and whatnot. And then that's it. Like, I've got my personal energy. Make sure if you're sitting that when you go to stand up, you stand up slowly, because you will get some sort of like a little head rush thing going on there. Make sure that all your personal energy levels are good. Make sure you stay hydrated. And make sure you eat just a little bit of something right after you do something like that, just to kind of replenish any energy that you haven't quite pulled back, because anytime you push it out, you can push darn near all of it completely out of you. But when you go to take back in your personal energy, there's always a little small bit of it that we tend not to take too much of. And so having that libation of drinking your water and staying hydrated or eating a little something will replenish that energy that you've pushed out if you've pushed out too much. So too much retained energy will result in a headache and depression, irritability. It can make you very angry. So if that ever happens to you, you know that you haven't pushed out and grounded and centered yourself back to where you're supposed to be. So, but then again, too little will result in you being super tired, depression, or possibly even fainting or being lightheaded. So be careful how you guys are doing it. And it's not gonna be something that you guys learn overnight. Like I said, I've been on this path since I was 13. I'm almost 37, so like 23 years. And I'm still, to this day, there's times where I either don't drain enough and I get very, very irritated, or I drain too much and I'm super tired. So just pay attention to your surroundings, pay attention to the energy around you, and pay attention to the energy that you're bringing into yourself and pushing out of yourself at all times. So you have to find that inner balance and then adjust it how you're going to feel. Because I may be able to push out all my energy to where you guys may only be able to push out half of it. It's always what feels right to you and what doesn't make you feel sick. So that's my lesson per se on grounding and centering yourself. I can tell you that a citrine crystal, which is this little crystal guy right here, a citrine crystal will help you with the balance of that. I absolutely love citrine, but I will save that for another video on one of my crystals, so my crystal videos. So I hope you guys learned a little bit about grounding and centering and how important it is to ground and center. So until next time, guys, I love you all, and blessed be. Bye.